you guys, it's Amanda here for an update on our children's worship lesson. So the lesson we studied last time was based on Psalm 148. That's 148, and we read the whole verse, and I'm not going to read the whole thing again because you can watch the first video again if you need to. But I asked you to please send in some artwork that shows some of the things that are listed in the Psalms and how they praise God. So some of the things listed were angels, sun, moon, heavens, there's fire and wind, storms, trees, everything, creeping things, and then children, men, women, little kids, old people, young people, kings. There's a whole list, so you can look up Psalm 148 for that list to give you some ideas of what to cover. We've received some great artwork, but we definitely like to have a lot more. And so I figured I would give you a few ideas of things you could try at home, maybe to inspire you. One of the first things listed is angels, and it can be a little hard to do a picture of angels because we don't really know what they look like. But one idea is to take some black paper or maybe brown paper or something dark, and you can cut out an angel shape. I put some tape on the back so it doesn't move. And then you probably have sidewalk chalk at home or regular chalk. This is pastel. Pastels, the artist pastels. Okay. And the point of this is the angel's going to block off the area so that you can create a glowing light around it. But you have to work away from the shape. You can't push it up under because then it wouldn't work. You have to, whoops, hold your paper. You might need mom or someone to help you hold it. Let's start on the angel shape and then push away. And you can do layer and layer, lots of colors. And when you pull it off, you could do a whole lot more with it, but you could have an angel picture. You could add other colors out here. You could get darker as you went. So that's one idea of what you can do to create an angel. Okay, another thing mentioned is storms. And we had some terrible, terrible storms here the other night. We had hail that looked like, afterwards it looked like it had snowed. The hail was all over the place. We had so many trees down in our neighborhood. It was really, really scary. But God says that the storms are praising Him. So, have you ever painted with salt before? If you have watercolors at home or any kind of watery paints, you could do salt and crayon to create storms. So I started already with some trees, and my trees are not standing straight because the wind is pushing them over, okay? And you could just take a crayon and do lots of dots for your hail or your storm, your rain. So maybe I'm going to cover it. I have to make noises. Always make noises when you do art. All right, so lots and lots and lots of dots. Okay. So I let that dry a little bit because, you know, if you put all wet colors together on the paper, then it'll make just a big blob. Okay, so I let the trees dry, and now I can go back with my darker blues. I want this to be a stormy, stormy scene. So I have my blues and my grays. And I can go back over my paper. You can see where, I'm just going to go right in for it because I want it to be dark. You can see where the crayon is showing up and making it look like rain. You see there's lines. So you would want to do a whole lot more lines than that. I'm just doing it really fast. You could add a whole lot of detail. See how, since my trees were dry already, you can see through it. Watercolor is something that requires layers and layers. It's not something that's finished the first time. Okay, so we can do more than that. We can take your average salt, and you could just take the salt shaker if you want, So you could sprinkle that on there. And then make sure your paper is fairly dry, wet. Sorry. If you don't have a very wet paper, it may not work later. But then, see what happens. See if the salt takes up some of the paint. It should make it so, even brush it around a little bit, go back over and add some dark streaks, add more salt. You could splatter. Ask your mom. Okay, and then put even more salt on. And then once it's dry, that salt will absorb up some of the paint. So you'll have a lot of texture on your picture and it'll look like more of a storm. Okay, so that's another idea. Now, I know a lot of you have some friends right now in your house. We have 5 of them. Our butterflies that hatched from their chrysalis the other day. One of them's eating his watermelon right now. I see his little tonguey thing sticking out.
Proboscis, I think.
Oh, thank you. I call it tonguey thing. So you could create caterpillars. Sammy did this the other day for school out of a toilet paper tube with pipe cleaners. But another fun thing to do is to take your basic tissue paper, just like you would put in a present, and you're going to fold it. Now you want to find the corner that's all folds. So this is a fold side and this is the fold side. And you can add an oval shape or circle shape to that corner. Here's my corner. And then you don't even have to fill it completely, but you can take all your favorite colors and put some on that. Get a paper towel, ask Mom, and spray it. Now, you need to leave it a long time, and the darker the colors, the better. Plus, the less water, the better, because you don't want it to water down too much. Once you let it dry, you can unfold it. So you have that nice pattern there. You can cut it out, see how much lighter it gets. So that's why you want to make it dark. If you take some pipe cleaners and fold them up, maybe add some little antenna, twist, little head. We can stick our butterfly through there. Squish them a little bit. Maybe twist the bottom some. You can work with it. Then you can have some butterflies. You can hang them in front of the window. But you could send us some pictures of your butterflies. It does not have to be flat artwork. Okay, so the last thing, something kind of fun and silly. It talks about the beasts and the cattle. And usually we don't sit around drawing cows, but cows can be kind of fun to draw. And one of the things fun is just to focus on the face. So you could do a really funny, or silly, or even serious painting of a cow. So, one thing, cows, think of their snouts as kind of square. So you could do a big square snout. All right. Then you could do sort of a triangle head. You can give them some really goofy eyes. You could spend a lot more time on it than that. Some spots. Anyway, ears. And there's a cow looking at you. Okay? You give him a little mouth. All right? He could even have some grass sticking out of his mouth. But you could also give him a friend. What would this be? Maybe he has a pig friend behind him. They're all looking at you. Maybe he has a sheep friend. That could be black. And some little ears. Little sheep body. Okay? So you could do some silly pictures like that. You could paint it, do it with markers. You can add some sun and clouds and everything in there. You could have a whole farm portrait. Okay, so one thing that I found online that I thought was really good, which answered the question I asked last time, which was, how does creation worship God? Okay, so we talked about the rocks. I forgot to bring my friends. My friend rocks. We don't hear them speak, right? Okay, so how does creation worship God? They worship God by just doing what they're supposed to do. The storm worships God by being a storm. The cows worship God by doing what a cow's supposed to do. Okay, I found this one thing that was great online by someone named Valerie Comer, and it said, worship, I'm going to paraphrase, worship makes us appreciate and want to take care of what God gave us, and by taking care of our natural world, by taking care of nature and the creation God gave us, we can make sure that it can continue to do what God made it to do, which is praise and worship. Can you imagine praising God with a gushing geyser, or the song of a whale, or praising God with a field full of flowers? So one way we can do that is by creating those things, creating pictures of those things. Creation praises God by its very existence, by being what God designed it to be. Okay? So I hope that this inspires you to do some more artwork for us and send it in. And remember, Psalm 148 is our passage, so you can look that up to get a list of different things you can send in. And basically anything, because even your family is God's creation, right? So you can send us a picture of them. All right, you guys, miss you. Take care. See you next time.